Support for this podcast comes from the St. Alphonsus Neuroscience Institute, offering technology to provide treatment for neurological, neurosurgical, and neurointerventional conditions. This includes a dedicated neurotrauma ICU for critical care of the brain or spine and a 24/7 stroke team. More at stalphonsus.org. Hey, podcast listeners, want to stay informed without the daily email overload? Sign up for our free weekly newsletter. Every Tuesday morning, we bring you the top local stories, plus highlights from Idaho Matters and the Mountain West News Bureau, all in one easy read. Stay in the know without the clutter. Subscribe now at boisestatepublicradio.org.
From Boise State Public Radio, this is The Connector. It's Idaho's Daily News. Good morning, I'm George Prentice. What with the winter being warmer and drier than normal, what will be the impact on this summer's water season? And with all of the change in city governments across the region, one city council is changing when they meet. It is Tuesday, the 20th of January. Here we go with today's stories. At the Capitol, Idaho agency presentations to the Joint Finance Appropriation Committee, or JFAC, have begun. That's as state budget analysts and agency heads present on the money they say they need and why they need it. The State Department of Health and Welfare, one of Idaho's largest and most costly operations, has been up first. Medicaid spending faces cuts, and Senate Democrat Melissa Wintrow noted the committee managing the money does not hold public hearings on the matter.
I'm really interested in how we as a committee can do our absolute best to hear from the public about the impacts, in particular of this budget, because of the rate decreases we've already seen.
Wintrow says she's been receiving lots of feedback already from people impacted by cuts to Medicaid. JFAC co-chair, Republican Representative Josh Tanner, says the public gets its say in hearings held by House and Senate Health and Welfare committees. Wintrow wants the Budget Setting Committee to get that feedback directly.
I guess what I'm going to do is copy hundreds of pages of emails. I'm going to put them on everybody's desk.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
You just heard reaction there from Senate Republican and committee co-chair Scott Groh. Now, the full committee is painting a rosy economic outlook when it comes to Idaho's tax revenue of the coming year. James Dawson tells us more.
JFAC believes the state will take in about $5.82 billion in the next fiscal year, strengthened by last month's resurgence in corporate income tax. That's about $150 million higher than what Governor Little anticipated in his proposed budget. Senate Democratic leader Melissa Wintrow says that gives her hope.
I think this is an indication that, hey, we don't have to make these deep cuts that people are talking about, and people don't have to suffer then. So our state employees, Medicaid recipients, and so forth.
But Republican Representative Josh Tanner, who co-chairs JFAC, tempered expectations.
It's not so much about what you're putting down there for not cutting, for cutting.
He says that additional money might instead pay for things left out of the governor's budget, like local road projects or conforming to federal tax changes in a different way. JFAC will begin budget hearings Tuesday morning. James Dawson, Boise State Public Radio News.
It has not taken long for a change in leadership at Ketchum City Hall to affect change with how and when leadership interacts with the public. As newly sworn-in Mayor Pete Prigogis oversaw his first council meeting, the first order of business was to change the day and time of future council meetings. They have for some time now been on Mondays, but
I move to establish regular city council meeting dates on the second and fourth Thursday at 5:30 p.m. of each month and instruct staff to return.
When a member of the public questioned about public access to council actions at those meetings and the fact that up till now, Monday meetings could be reported in that week's edition of the local newspaper Mountain Express, Mayor Prigogis said that was a non-factor for him.
They were able to put news in the Wednesday edition. Now you're going Thursday, the news of your actions won't be in the paper for 6 days.
I'm all about the press. I'm all about transparency, but that is not going to, the press is not going to sway any decision I personally vote on.
So the next Ketchum City Council meeting is Thursday. Ketchum residents can read about it next week. Water managers from across the region are paying very close attention to the latest outlook from the Northwest River Forecast Center. It gave us a detailed snapshot of the snowpack and a pretty good idea of what we can expect in the next week to 10 days to the next few months. Amy Burke is a National Weather Service hydrologist.
So we've got quite differing stories in snowpack. The higher elevations of the Rockies have done better, but we are missing a lot of mid and low elevation snowpacks for this time of year. Again, still very early in the season to be talking about peak snowpack, but definitely having a pretty dramatic pattern coming out here already.
For the next 10 days, depending on the elevation, a very different snapshot.
I expect these 10 days to kind of be a mix of rain and snow, depending on your elevation and how this comes in. So days 1 through 5, you can see we're mostly remaining cold. And then days 6 through 10, indicating some warm-ups. A lot of that in the same areas that are already lacking in snowpack.
Looking out to February and March, some improvement, but primarily that will be for North Idaho.
So not a great story for snowpack building where we really need it.
This week, the Idaho Water Users Association is holding its annual conference in Boise. The governor opens the conference today, and the highlight will be the much-anticipated water supply outlook for the region. That will be tomorrow. And with an air stagnation advisory still in effect, that is today's episode of The Connector. I'm George Prentice. What do you say we'll give it another try on Wednesday? Think about subscribing to our Legislative Roundup newsletter. Comes to your inbox every Monday, tells you what you need to know about what's going on at the State House. You can sign up at boisestatepublicradio.org. For now, from me to you, thanks for listening.
Hey, I'm Peter Pruitt from Zoo, Idaho.
And I'm Dr. Leif Tapinola with the Idaho Museum of Natural History.
Together we host The Nature of Idaho, a podcast all about how our state's amazing landscapes, wildlife, and geology shape life here in the Gem State.
Each week we dive into nature stories from across Idaho, everything from fossils to forests, and sometimes even a few fun facts you can share on your next hike.
So join us as we celebrate everything that makes wild Idaho special.
Listen to The Nature of Idaho from KISU, wherever you get your podcasts, or at KISU.org.